Emily, thank you so much for joining the podcast. How are you?
I'm well. I'm nice and relaxed after presenting yesterday.
It's nice to have it out of the way, right?
Exactly.
Before we jump into some questions about what you discussed from stage, tell me a little bit about yourself and why nonprofits.
Sure. So my name's Emily Taylor. I'm based out of Chicago, and I help nonprofits with strategic listening, which is a lot of different qualitative research and really helping them understand their audience. And nonprofits, to me, I've just always been involved in nonprofits. I spent a lot of my life in the for-profit world, but I would always volunteer. I'd always be on boards, and so I just felt like it was time to merge my worlds.
Yeah, awesome. So you help nonprofits listen. Can you dig into that a little bit more? What does that mean, at the day-to-day level for organizations?
Sure. Well, and especially because this conference is so much about data and, collecting that behavioral data. Listening, I find, is a balance to that. So we can find a lot about people's behaviors from data, but if we don't also listen to people, we don't necessarily understand why they're behaving that way and how we can repeat those behaviors through different channels or different mediums. So listening is really just about really talking to people, giving them a chance to give you feedback and maybe new ideas or new ways of thinking about things so that you can connect with them.
Got it. And have you, in working with nonprofits on this, have they been receptive to this practice? What are sort of the challenges, obstacles you have to overcome?
I'm actually surprised how hard it is sometimes. Even as I'm watching some of the presentations, listening is sometimes referred to as just, looking at your Google Analytics and data, and that's part of it. But to actually get out and talk to people, there's some hesitation with how do I take what people say, one person says, or 5 people say, and interpret that into my audience of 1,000 or 10,000. And there's some processes for doing that, and it's more about getting ideas and information than making decisions through listening. And so that's usually what I'm doing, is really helping people understand that value of hearing the why from people and how do you incorporate that and combine it with your data.
Got it. Fascinating. Yesterday you talked about prototyping. Can you talk a little bit unpack that a little bit, what that means and what the sort of main theme of the talk was?
Sure. So one of the challenges with listening is that people say a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily reflect their behavior. And so prototyping is a way we can get ideas out in front of people and give them something to react to versus just imagine and think about. And so it helps us get closer to the truth. But it also allows people to bring new ideas to the table. So you might prototype different stories you could tell. You could prototype different Facebook ads. You could prototype different registration pages and share those with people before you actually implement them so that you can improve them.
Interesting. Yeah, we have this process actually at Fundraise. So we're a software company, fundraising platform. When we get feedback from customers, we used to go on customer calls and say, hey, what do you need? What do you want? What can be better? And what we found was we would take their feedback, we would build the thing, but then they're like, no, that's not what I wanted. That's what you said. And so the process we have since kind of used, it sounds a little bit more like what you're talking about in prototyping, is we build a few different things, prototype a few different sort of features. And we will survey customers and ask them which one meets your needs, or which one solves the problem that you've stated in the most efficient and effective way. And so it's interesting. It's the psychology of asking someone to respond or to give feedback could be actually different than their behavior. It's a super interesting concept.
Yeah, I know people bring up the Ford. If you'd ask people what they'd want a faster horse, not a car. But what I take away from that is still that they had that desire for something faster.
Yeah.
And so that's what you can learn, but they can't tell you how to implement that, right? They can't tell you what it should look like. And so that's where prototyping can really help get ideas out in front of that meet their why, their sort of motivation, that desire for something faster, and you can try to start bringing it to life with the resources that you have in different ways and figuring out the best one.
Yeah, interesting. My assumption, I don't have data to back this up, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts, is my assumption is a lot of nonprofits aren't probably doing this well, right? They don't probably understand who their audience is, what their audience needs. Why do you think that is? If that is actually true.
My hypothesis is that there isn't the funding for it. You might have the funding for running a campaign. You might have the budget for education, but not necessarily the research.
Yeah.
And so, and it's a lot easier to sell, quantitative data research to leadership because you get very clear results.
Right.
And qualitative is a little fuzzier, but I really think in just seeing all the presenters at this conference, there's such a need for feeling and emotion and why behind things. And so I really just keep pushing how important it is to balance that with your quantitative data.
Absolutely. What are you looking forward to in 2023? Like what projects or ideas that you're hoping to bring to life in the new year?
Oh, I'm still working on the rest of the year on what the next year's going to look like, but I really want to lean into helping nonprofits listen. I've done a little bit of different work in the past, and so I really want to lean into that and help them better understand their audiences and their stakeholders and help them translate that into strategic decisions, for lack of buzzwords.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so now we've got some rapid fire questions.
All right.
All right, so digital reading or an actual book?
Actual book.
Actual book. All right. Yeah, I like hardcovers too. I think that's like, if I'm gonna read, it's gotta be a hardcover.
Yeah, I need something to do off the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Pizza or salad? One thing you could eat the rest of your life.
Pizza. It's
Pizza.
too hard to turn that down.
Salad?
From Chicago, so
Oh,
we got
that's
so much good
there you
pizza.
go. Beach or the mountains?
I would say beach.
Beach.
Yeah, just chilling.
Yeah. Football or football?
Oh, but definitely football.
Football. Dogs or cats?
Very much cats.
Cats. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have cats?
I do. I have 2 cats.
2 cats. Awesome.
Yeah.
Funnel cake or cheesecake?
Ooh, I'd go funnel cake.
Funnel cake.
Yeah, a little
funnel
less
cake.
heavy.
A little sugar on top, powdered sugar. All right, last one. This one's a hard one. The Goonies or The Sandlot?
Oh, Goonies. I don't
Goonies.
think I've seen Sandlot.
Oh, you haven't seen Sandlot?
No.
Oh, you got to watch Sandlot. Maybe doesn't hold up as well, but it's a classic.
That's good. I've been watching a lot of the movies I watched as a kid with my daughter now.
Oh,
so
nice. I actually just watched Sandlot with my 4 kids, and they loved it. They were cracking up. So it's a good one.
Yeah, I love to see what still holds up. I've got Spaceballs on the list.
Oh, that's a good one.
Star Wars. So.
Awesome. Well, Emily, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise.